Okay, this one might be a little controversial, but if it wasn't, why would I bother talking about it? Uh, in my opinion, humans are computers. Uh, I suppose I'm a bit of a predeterminist, or however you say it, the type that believes that everything is pretty much set in stone, and that the universe is like dominoes. It's one falls after the next, and every moment of time, uh, it's all predetermined. And a lot of times, the main argument against that idea of looking at the universe is, yeah, but what about freedom? Free will. And I think you have the free will to do exactly what was laid out before you. People say, well, it's a person's personality. This is all connected to computers. Is a person's personality, is it nature or is it nurture, right? Is it the genetics that they were born with, or is it the society that raised them? And the point is that you didn't have any control over either of those things, really. If your childhood, these developmental years, make who you are as a person, which a lot of psychologists say, you didn't get to choose your parents, your DNA, where you grew up, and each of even your choices today as an adult are based on your history, because anytime you choose something, it's based on what you believe, and what you believe was, set out a long time ago. So I do tend to think of humans as even being just cause and effect, and I don't hold, if a psychopath has a a neurological imbalance, and then they go and do something crazy, I don't know if it's, what does it mean that it's their fault? I mean, the guy had a neurological imbalance. He didn't choose that. That's what happened. And if I had a neurological imbalance, it's almost a definite thing that I would do something crazy too. And so would you. So, and maybe he doesn't have an imbalance. Maybe he just had he's messed up because he had a crazy experience in his life that just ruined him as a person. Well, he didn't choose that crazy experience either. But anyways, we're getting a little off task here. So I tend to see everything as being cause and effect. And when you look at, I study for fun a little bit of computer science and neurology and other things. But these are the relevant ones right now. And I study computer science because it helps with media stuff, and I study neurology because I'm into medicine. And in studying these different, seemingly unconnected things, I saw a lot of similarities just by chance. And the way a computer works is that it's just a bunch of transistors, which are just little switches. 1, 0. There's basically, and you have trillions and quadrillions of transistors, and each one, when it switches, represents a 1 or a 0. And that's when you watch the Matrix, you see the 1s and 0s, and that's what computers are built on. And the 1s and 0s and the switches just dictate the flow of electricity through the circuit. Okay, and so what a computer is, how it works, is it sends electrical signals around a circuit. And if you look at the human brain, it too just sends electrical signals around a circuit, except instead of being transistors, you've got neurons, and so the electricity goes, or the signal goes from one neuron to the next to the next, from one node to the next to the next. And this symphony of electrical movement is what makes consciousness, it's what makes our memories, emotions, all that. So basically, a computer and a brain work the same way. They're just electrical circuits. It's just that computers use, maybe it's like a copper wire, and we use nerves, but a nerve is just a wire too. It's insulated with myelin instead of rubber. But and a computer's made of silicon, and a brain's made of carbon. But that doesn't really change anything, because whether a table's made of wood or the table's made out of plastic, it's not what it's made of that defines it as a table. It's the function. And and then even in a lot of other ways, there's a lot of similarities. Like computers have long-term storage and short-term. Well, like there's RAM, which is like short-term memory, and then there's your hard drive, which is long-term memory, and then the human brain has short-term memory and long-term memory. And computers have inputs, peripheral inputs, keyboards and a mouse that send information into the computer, and then it computes them, and then it outputs it in speakers or monitor. The brain, likewise, we have inputs, which are our senses, right? Feeling, hearing, seeing. And then we have outputs, which are basically run by our muscles. And there's just a number of parallels. And it ultimately, it's a very big topic. I can't really do it all justice right now, but the ultimate conclusion is that people are robots. We're just very, very complicated robots. And that then leads you to, sometimes people ask, when's the first computer, artificial intelligence, when is the first computer going to be alive? And I would say they've already been alive for a long time. Computers are alive. They're just not conscious, like a plant. And one of these days, a computer is going to get to that point of reaching consciousness. And then when we look back in history, when life began, life has to begin before consciousness. With humans, life began before we became conscious. It started out, as those little amoeba bacteria things. So yeah, it's I'm trying to think if there's any major points that I'm missing here. I don't know. Look, you're probably all going to disagree right now, but the seed has been planted. And maybe now you'll start to think about it, and, who knows. But I don't think that calling us computers makes us any less human, because if we are computers, then this is what it feels like to be a computer. It still is a beautiful thing. So anyways, I should probably stop, because it's probably been long enough, right? These videos are supposed to be like 2 minutes, so